What's up, folks? Welcome to May It So. My name's Ethan Lunn,
And I'm Mike.
and we're here today to discuss the latest episode of Strange New Worlds, entitled, what's it called?
It's the book title. It's the Elysian Stone or story or
The
something.
story of the King of the Queen of Elysium. All I know is that it's something of
Kingdom.
Elysium, the Kingdom of Elysium,
Elysian Kingdom, it's called.
Elysium, and it has nothing to do with the Matt Damon film
Yeah.
or the Hellenistic afterlife.
And it has nothing to do with, earlier on in Strange New Worlds, I was saying Illyria was too, just generic. Elysium is too generic as well. I'm sorry.
It's equal parts generic and vague and vague, and also like has specific meanings already linked to it
Yeah.
that this show has nothing to do with.
No. No.
I'm a little bit tipsy. So that's why I forgot the name that I absolutely have written down on this notebook right next to me. That I forgot
I
about.
really need to start writing down the names as well because it's the third week in a row that I cannot remember the name of the episode. This is the first, so I can't even blame it on being tipsy.
Oh, this is like my fourth. Mike, ask me how I am.
How are you, Ethan?
I'm fucking great. I just saw a fight. I was at the pub. I was at the pub that I work at, right? Me and my partner. There's a shawarma place across the street from the pub that I work at. And I went over and ordered some food. And I get discount there. And they bring it over across so I can sit in the pub and they'll bring me the food over. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, so Carlos, God bless you. God bless you, Carlos. He starts bringing mine and my partner's food out, and the brother of one of the owners walks past the shawarma place and is like, I'm having that.
Oof.
And Carlos is like, you fucking not. And then he's like, I am. And so they start having a fight outside the shawarma place over my food,
Nice.
right? And then one of the other owners comes out, who is like literally the biggest, scariest bastard you've ever seen. And basically just like picks the aggressor up, throws him to the ground and sits on him.
Nice.
While me and my manager are like pulling our mate Carlos away, just being like, leave him. The big guy's got him, call the police. Right? And the guys just like, they're screaming at each other in Turkish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Carlos, what's he saying? And he's like, he's just rambling nonsense. Like, he's fucking on one, mate.
Really.
Like, he was
Been,
literally, so
been
like, so,
having
yeah,
a bit
so
of
what?
been having a bit of the old
Mate, he was definitely
juice
on
before
something
cooking,
because, mate, the guy was tiny, skinnier than me.
yeah.
Like, he was not wearing a shirt under his jacket, so he's just got like a hoodie with no shirt on underneath.
Yeah.
And Yusuf, the big guy, the big show, is sat on him, and he's not letting it slide. He's still fucking going off, while this big guy is sat on top of him.
Yeah.
And he keeps going. Eventually, Yusuf, the big guy, just like drops his knee on the guy's nuts. He does not stop. He's still like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking blah, blah, blah. So Yusuf pulls a fucking move that I have never seen before. Right, I'm gonna have to try and like show you, like just to like, because so he's got hold of him. He's got him like that.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got him like that. He's on him, and then he goes to headbutt him, but because he's on, so basically he did like he dove on him. He like went like he like full went
A kneeling downward jump headbutt.
yeah, like he full on like did like a rabbit jump, and so like Yusuf is in the air. He's like a foot off the ground, but he's in the air,
Yeah.
and then just like head doof, down like that. I've never seen it I've never seen
And did
that
it,
before in my
was
life.
that enough to stop
Let's
the
show
little
him
lad?
up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he just had that guy's full weight on his head.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'd prefer someone's weight on my head than my nuts, if I was honest.
mate, the guy, like, honestly, the guy was just fucking on one.
Yeah.
So, like, Yusuf's holding him down. He's doing this, like, weird, like, fucking, I don't know what to call it. One of my managers was kind of like, I'm calling it a salmon jump.
Yeah.
Salmon, like a salmon.
Swimming upstream, jumping upstream.
Like, so Yusuf's like, after salmon dropping him, he's got him held down, and my manager's like patting the guy down for weapons.
Even though he was one of the owners of it.
Yeah, the guy is the brother of one of the owners, and he was like kicking the fuck off.
I mean,
We're like, there's us, there's the barber next door,
yeah.
there's the guys in the fucking pub next door to us, 2 doors down there out watching it all.
Yeah.
It took 14 minutes for the police to get there. 14 minutes.
In which time many a swan dive or a salmon jump.
Yeah, man. He could have salmon jumped the fuck out of him. Like honestly, that guy was the aggressor. But at one point, I was like, the police need to get here before Yusuf fucking kills this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bit of excitement for a day, isn't it?
Mate, it was fucking mental.
Yeah.
It was mental. It was so funny. I ran over when it all kicked off. I ran over and with my manager, and I grabbed Carlos, the guy who was being attacked.
Yeah.
Because I know Carlos.
Yeah. Good guy
And to
delivering
me,
food.
Carlos is the important one.
Yeah.
And my manager went to go like calm down the aggressor. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're the manager. You go deal with the guy that might have a weapon.
Yeah.
I'll go deal with our Carlos.
All over some fucking food.
I don't know if seems to me like it was less about the food and more about some kind of statement.
Okay.
Like, this is my brother's gaff.
Yeah.
I can have that food if I want.
It's like the Joker in Dark Knight burning all the money. It's not about the food. It's about sending a message.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like I say, he was wearing. He didn't look. He wasn't wearing a shirt under his hoodie. He didn't look in a good way.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking there's definitely more to the story than I know about.
Yeah.
But like,
Have to see
holy
next
shit.
time Carlos drops off food if he has the inside track on what actually happened behind it.
Mate, next time Carlos drops food off anywhere near me, he's getting free drinks.
Yeah.
Like, I got straight up.
Good lad. Good lad.
Yeah, man. He was totally cool about it as well. Like, when it was all over, he was just like, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And there's me fucking going in. It's just like I don't want to be a dicker out, but was that my food that you were bringing out that I was after?
And can I still have it?
Can I still get it? And he was like, yeah, no, sound.
Yeah.
While all this is going on, Carlos had gone and picked up my food and stuck it back under the grill to keep it warm.
Nice. I was only thinking about the warmth.
Legend.
I was only thinking about, discount for it being cold after a fight.
No, mate, you just stuck it back. I already get discount because we were across the street from each
Yeah.
other. But like after getting attacked, the second after getting peeled off the guy attacking him, he grabbed that shit and stuck it back under the grill to keep it warm.
Good lad.
What a fucking legend.
Yeah. Carlos needs,
Professional.
all the tips in the world, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Do-
let's talk about
Well,
how are you doing?
Let's move from your interesting one to mine. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have a mini rant and settle in, boys and girls, and anyone else, to my rant on Paramount Plus, which I do So everyone can see I do actually have. I'm not just ranting from no knowledge of it. So this week it's been Paramount Plus's launch in the UK. We've been waiting for, I want to say, 6 months. I presume
Long
it's
enough.
around that. Yeah.
Long enough.
Yeah.
We've been warned for months.
Yeah.
That all of the Star Trek is going to be coming off of Amazon Prime, it's going to be coming off Netflix, and it's going to be going to Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
We have not been getting Discovery or Strange New Worlds at the same time as the rest of the world because of this.
Well, we got Discovery on some weird fucking channel, didn't we?
I mean, yeah, but Pluto isn't a streaming service.
No.
It's a TV channel.
Yeah.
So when you go to Pluto, you can only watch what's
currently
on Pluto
on TV. Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird fucking one. But we had Paramount Plus launch in the UK, and let's start off with the content that's on Paramount Plus. Not just Star Trek.
So before we get to Star Trek, what else is there?
So I'm gonna go down in the big complaints about general Paramount Plus to the complaints specifically about Star Trek, because I'm in a fucking mood today. So Paramount is a massive studio, has been a massive studio for fucking decades, of course.
One of my earliest childhood memories is of sneaking up in the dead of night to watch Nickelodeon on satellite TV. But here in the UK, after a certain time, Nickelodeon became Paramount TV. So I have a very clear early memory of sneaking up to go and watch cartoons and turning to the Nickelodeon channel and finding Sybil.
Yeah.
the Sybil Shepherd sitcom. Yeah. And I remember the Paramount logo.
Yeah.
Paramount.
It's impossible to not have seen the Paramount logo, really. Nowadays.
Paramount is a established thing, and it is established worldwide. People know Paramount worldwide.
People know Paramount. So, obviously it was a bit of a bummer getting it. I was going to say, or I did say 6 months. Thinking about it, there was CBS All Active before that. So it's probably a year or more. But, we've got it now. Woohoo! Do you think we've got anywhere near the amount of shows as the US? Or the amount of content?
I would assume there will be some programming in the US that maybe wouldn't reach.
No.
Maybe some like reality shows or.
Yeah, I mean, shows and movies, you don't expect, because there's a rights thing and they have to eventually, peel off the rights. But they've had, about a year or so to start working that out. And that's why we didn't get Discovery on a normal human channel or streaming service like Netflix. We got it on fucking Pluto TV. They were like, well, we'd like to put it on Netflix and get a bit of money off that, but Netflix are probably going to want it for a year, and we just want to give it to them for 2 or 3 months. So we'll put it on this fucking thing. So there's rights issues, obviously, but the US service has more than 600 TV shows and more than 2,000 movies,
600 TV shows, 2,000 movies?
Yeah.
I can't wait to dig into that.
Yeah. The UK and Ireland version, because it's UK and Ireland as well, sorry Connor for getting straight up, is 250 shows, and 400 movies. So almost 1,800 of the 2,200 movies not there. Never mind.
Well, I mean, there's got to be like less than half as many people as there is here in the US, so maybe they only need half as much programming.
Yeah, maybe they'll not be concerned about watching big titles like Sonic and Sonic 2, which the US have and we don't. And
Sonic isn't on there.
It would be on the US one. It's not on the UK and Ireland one. Never mind, let's launch a service with
No, let's. Should we put one of the most successful children's movies of 2021 on?
nah. And I haven't checked, but I don't think the most recent Mission Impossible is on there. So the two biggest movies they've had in the past year, 2 years, nah. Why bother,
Why bother?
Let's be laissez-faire with it, Let's, people will come.
Ow.
They'll watch our very highly regarded Halo TV show instead.
It's England.
Yeah.
They've only just had the Industrial Revolution. They don't. Do you think that they actually have a Sega? Do they even know who Sonic is?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, as well as only having 250 of the 600 plus TV shows, you'd think, well, at least I can watch, some of their staples like CSI, the million variations of CSI. I can do a full rewatch and I can start at the start and I can go through and, really catch up on shows I've missed.
Oh, yeah.
No. So some of them are missing whole couple of seasons. So missing seasons 1 to 11 of some of the CSIs, and then it just picks up again.
Oh, so the good seasons with Gil Grissom. So anything with Gil Grissom.
Yeah.
Which is, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason I would watch CSI.
Yeah. Missing.
Okay.
Never mind, Who would want to watch the early ones where it's establishing characters and doing all that work when you could watch the later ones where probably it's worked a bit cheaper.
It's super formulaic and trite and lame and predictable.
Why not do that? Why not do that?
Sweet. I mean, at least we can watch it in 4K though, right?
Yeah, about that. 1080p maximum. So
1080p?
1080p. I mean, it's fantastic to think back to the early 2000s when HD TVs were coming in. And, the whole showdown between 1080p-i and 1080p, or 1080i and 1080p. So let's go back in time to feel that, I suppose.
Hey, I mean, I shouldn't admit this, but I do watch a lot of things through illegal means. So maybe it might be nice for some people when they are paying for a service to feel like they are doing something naughty by watching it in shitty quality.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really nice to upgrade the copies of Strange New Worlds that I've been watching from 1080p to their original source and watch them in 4K. Never mind.
Nah, mate. What you want to do with Stranger Things is downgrade it so it looks
not Stranger
like
Things, Strange New Worlds. Yeah.
You want to downgrade it so it looks like it's a shitty VCR copy.
Yeah. And they're not the only streamer, because obviously Netflix have a 4K tier and a 1080p tier, and you want this YouTube like you're streaming it on a train tier.
Yeah,
but one of the major pulls.
Now that I think about it, the guys over there on Mount Paramount, they're probably just like guys over in the UK. They probably don't need 4K vision. I mean, when I think of England, I think of foggy old London town.
Yeah,
I think of mist and soot. They probably wouldn't be able to appreciate 4K because they probably wouldn't be able to see it. It's so foggy and sooty.
Like Sooty and Sweep. That's where we had.
It's everything's so foggy and misty in foggy old London town, England.
Just coal smoke everywhere. That's what England's like.
I mean, that's every day of my life.
Yeah.
Is me walking down a dark, foggy cobblestone path
with the Hovis music playing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you won't be able to watch. They've just done obviously Paramount's they've been putting up 4K re-releases of the Star Trek movies. So you won't be able to watch them in 4K, these remastered versions. And you won't be able to watch them at all, because the versions on Paramount Plus in the UK are the original versions. For whatever reason, they're not even bothering to put them up.
But they have even if it's not 4K.
Yeah.
They have the restored versions.
Yes. They have them sitting there on a drive. Put them on.
It's probably...
It would be harder not to.
Never mind on a drive. It's probably on the desktop. They're so recent.
Yeah. But never mind just the recent ones. You can actually
what
connect...
about the new stuff? We've got all the new stuff, right?
No. Well, before we get on to the new stuff, because some of that is more standard, I suppose. Let's say you can hook Paramount Plus and watch it through Apple TV or Amazon Prime and stuff like that, instead of having to deal with the frankly poor app. Rather than having to go through the Paramount Plus app, you can watch it through the Apple TV app, or you can watch it through the Amazon Prime app. So you can get a decent app supporting it. Just add them as channels. So say you wanted to watch, I don't know, Star Trek TNG, a classic. If you
Star
start
Trek: The Next Generation, starring Sir Patrick Stewart,
that's the one.
Gates McFadden.
If you try and watch that on Paramount Plus through Amazon Prime and I believe Apple TV, you get the shortened versions of episodes, the ones that are made for so now we can fit more adverts in.
I'm sorry, the Wattens of what?
So the guys at a different podcast, The Next Conversation, were recently they finally finished TNG, and they were doing All Good Things. And they were saying, this version is missing whole scenes. Why is it missing scenes? And the version that is hosted on Amazon does not have the full episode. It has a shortened, truncated episode by 10 minutes of All Good Things. So you're paying for a service to watch less of the thing you like, less of the classic thing you like. Not a re-release of it, just less of the classic stuff.
Do they not know that Trekkies exist?
Apparently not, because they
also
think that
we won't notice?
They also forgot to put up Encounter at Farpoint and Broken Bow and a couple of other episodes.
Wait. What?
So
the first episode of The Next Generation isn't even on it?
It is now. It wasn't on launch day. So if you signed on launch day and thought, well, at least I can watch this in 1080p, it's better quality than it went out on. It's not as good as the Blu-rays, but I'll watch it. You would start on episode 3 of The Next Generation. And let's say as well.
And that's sorry. That's like that's in the US as well, right?
No, in the US they have everything. The US still has the truncated episodes, the short episodes, if you watch them through Amazon Prime.
Every
episode, but if there is a truncated version, it'll be the truncated version.
This is the worst thing to happen to Star Trek since they chose to put a Rod Stewart song on the opening of Enterprise.
Rod Stewart's fine. But imagine, you go, well, at least when it went onto Netflix, it's a service I'm probably paying for because everyone had Netflix then. They take it off Netflix, and then you get a much worse service technologically, by the content on there, even though it's a show that has existed for 25 years. You say, well, at least they've got Strange New Worlds to bring me in, and maybe this is the last one I can remember of shitting on Paramount Plus, because we're nearly half an hour in of just talking about fights in Paramount Plus. Say I wanted to watch Strange New Worlds. It's the
At least
new
we
hot
can
show.
watch the new shit.
Nah, you can watch the first 3 episodes, and today they mistakenly put on the 8th episode for a short time. So you could watch 1, 2, 3, and 8, and nothing in between.
So they can put all the episodes up.
Oh yeah.
And they accidentally put one of all the episodes up, and then they took it off.
Yeah. So if you were lucky to sign on early this morning, you could watch episode 8, the episode we're going to talk about, the Elysian Kingdom or whatever, before they went, oh Christ, that's not going to keep people signed up to the service. Let's pull that off. Can you think of a worse launch of a streaming service than this?
No.
Now, I'm really struggling to think of something that can be cocked up worse than leaving off half the content. The content that you've got on there isn't 4K anyway. It's not the remastered, re-released. In fact, it's not even the original length. It's shortened. Oh, you want to watch new stuff? No, you can't.
I am not a business-minded person.
No.
I am away with the fairies most of the time. If someone were to ask me for genuine business advice on how to run their business, my response would be to ask someone else.
Yeah.
However, I could have planned this infinitely better, and I have ADHD. I
mean, it's, we can't even say, well, they're the first kind of streamer to take back their content and put it up this way after a show is already released.
that means nothing. That means nothing.
Well, Disney did this with The Mandalorian and got shat on then. They know, if someone with half a brain in the streaming department is running that, they would go, well, all the talk at the time when Disney Plus came out in the UK and we started releasing Mando episode by episode was, well, it's a bit late, and if you want people to watch it now, release it all at once. It's already out. Otherwise, people are just going to, the people that haven't already decided to get it by other means are going to not watch it or still get it by other means.
Yeah. It's like, I know, right? We need people to sign up to this streaming service in about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll only give them 3 episodes, and that way they won't sign up to the service until about 7 weeks from now.
Yeah. And there's at least one person on the Facebook group who has said, I might as well wait until it's all out.
Yeah, I had that up. It's, sorry, let me just find this. So if you go to Mate It So, facebook.com/ well, let me just get
there'll be a link in the doobly-doo.
/groups /972417256.
Yeah.
Right, let me just read it. Let me just fucking find it. What the actual fuck is Paramount Plus playing at in the UK? I'm sure those other 4 episodes aren't important.
Yeah.
And yeah, literally looking at episode number 3, Ghosts of Illyria, then episode number 8, The Elysian Kingdom.
Yeah. Never mind.
Someone is drunk at the wheel of the Paramount Plus fucking 4x4.
Yeah. It's literally, I mean, Star Trek's one of their headline shows. It has been in the past when they've tried to launch channels in the past. I don't know. Can't remember if it was. I think TNG was for launching a channel, and maybe they pulled out of the channel. But Voyager, I think, was launching another channel as well. So you'd think
Enterprise. I think it was Enterprise.
Was it Enterprise?
Yeah, because I remember because they
Yeah.
were launching a channel. I think I say I remember. I'm pretty sure they were launching a channel, and that was part of the reason why they originally took Star Trek off the title.
Yeah.
And it was just called Enterprise.
Because
it was like new channel, new show.
That channel might have actually become in the end CW, by the way, from my poor recollection of it.
Makes sense. Enterprise and the CW have similar typefaces.
Yep. But you know, it's the prime show. So on the carousel, it's right next to Paw Patrol, the movie. It's the fourth one down.
Wait a minute. There's a Paw Patrol movie.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. You've got to have something up there for the kids. But you've got on the top of the carousel Halo, a show that hasn't done well critically. Super Pumped, never heard of. And
Super what?
Super Pumped. It's got what's his name? Young Looper. Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. And then something called The First Lady, which seems to have... Is it Michelle Obama? It looks a lot like her. And Gillian Anderson.
About Raquel Welch in 10 million years BC.
if only. And then it has Trek. So they're really putting the show that's getting good reviews and is one of their headline shows that will keep lasting. They're putting it behind.
Oh my God, do you think they may be insecure about the fact that their most popular show is Star Trek?
I think a bit. They're trying to look cool and edgy by having Halo up there.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for them now.
Yeah.
Do you think that this was planned? Or do you think it's just a case of like they don't think it's that big a deal? And so they just didn't plan it well?
I think a lot of it is planned. I think the 1080p is planned. I think not having full seasons of the show is they knew it was going to happen. And I think not having full seasons of current new shows was going to happen. So the 1080p, you don't want 10 times as many people signing up as you thought they were going to sign up, and it fucking crashes the app. So you might as well go.
I'm glad you said that. That's what was just going through my mind. Are they maybe trying to mitigate the amount of people signing up to the service?
Well, not even mitigate. If they've only allocated so much bandwidth, you know, they're only allowing for so much, and then they get so many people signing up, more than they expect, all streaming 4K, crashes everything, or it's far too expensive for them for what they thought they were going to get. So if it's just 1080p, then we can gauge what sort of demand we have. People go on there and watch all the things that they wanted to, and then it sort of settles down again, the amount of streamers. So I think that's planned. I think obviously they knew they weren't going to get stuff that they don't have licenses for in the UK. So putting out a third of the content is kind of planned, or they knew it was going to happen. And I think putting up only the first 3 episodes, knowing that people are going to have to subscribe. They can't just watch all Strange New Worlds in a trial period. They're going to have to subscribe to it if they want it. Unless they subscribe in like a month's time, in which case, fine. So most of it seems planned to me. I don't think the stuff with Amazon where I say they're using the shorter episodes is planned. I think that's just a fuck up with the copies.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be a fuck up.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that someone is going to think, I know, they'll love this.
Yeah. One of the scenes missing from All Good Things was Q explaining what caused the anti-time rift. So there's no explanation in the episode for what caused the whole thing of the episode.
So what? So what? The episode just goes from Picard being like, thing to like advert, and
Yeah.
then right, guys, here's the plan.
Well, at the end where Q's saying, the continuum did this to test humanity, but I gave you the tips, to help you by. Not in
And
there.
he's pulling, and he's pulling out.
Yeah.
That's the scene.
That's the scene. Well, that's one of the many scenes that's missing.
That scene is one of the most important scenes in the history of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Where Q is saying like the trial is never over.
They keep the trial is never over bit, I should say. So at least they keep that. They don't butcher the episode that badly.
Fucking hell, Paramount Plus. Sybil Shepherd needs to get her fucking shit together.
Yeah.
And sort the guys out at Paramount Plus.
Yeah. They need something to something to edge them on to be better. I don't rant because I want to rant. I want them to be better. I would love to be able to be on here next week and say, you know what? They've fixed a lot of these problems. It's now 4K. All the episodes are up.
I would love to not have to break the law to watch Star Trek.
Yeah. I am going to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
I will eventually one day.
Yeah. Maybe not for Strange New Worlds. Because we don't know after Strange New Worlds when the next Star Trek is. I don't think it's been announced.
Don't know when Lower Decks is out. Do we?
No, I think before Lower Decks, I believe it's Prodigy Season 1 Part 2. So the first season was 20 episodes split into a 10 and a 10. When that second 10 is coming out, who the fuck knows?
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So maybe at some point we can have real nice conversations about how good Paramount Plus is and how much we love it.
I mean, I doubt it. Like, Disney Plus has been out for at least a year now.
Yeah.
And the app itself is fucking naff.
Oh, yeah.
It's really shit.
I forgot to say as well, if you've got... In this new age of smart TVs, Paramount Plus, although it's been launched, including CBS All Active, for about a year or more, if you're on a couple of smart TVs that aren't too old, there's no app for it as well. So you've got to hook up a Fire Stick, an Apple TV, that sort of junk, or just watch it on an iPad or phone. We're all good media sits on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a casting device, then you're all right.
Yeah.
That's how I watch most TV.
Well, I hear that the casting doesn't work perfectly to older Android TVs as well. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, fantastic. Good work.
So you need a top-of-the-range TV
Yeah.
to watch mid-tier quality episodes of Star Trek that have been edited up their own arse, and you can't even watch the new shit. Sweet.
Yep, cool. Anyway, do we think we've ranted enough about this? This poor showing by those idiots at Paramount.
Sure. Let's talk about the fucking episode.
Yeah. So it's one I don't think that we've got. We say this every week.
Oh wait! Before we talk about the episode,
yeah.
I think this might be good for a cold open. Look at my stupid microphone. So just in order to get we've been trying to work out the best way to get the best quality everything out of everything. I have a very low quality setup. Mike's is much better. So I've been trying to work out the best way to do things. My computer is not very good at doing two things at once. So this week I'm trying to record my audio on my phone, which is going perfectly fine so far. But it does mean I need to use a microphone The only microphone I have is one of these little microphones that I have embedded into this Star Trek communicator, which I think is quite fitting.
Yeah.
I know I look kind of stupid.
It looks like you're having the longest conversation on an away mission. It's not beam me up.
I, I'm totally okay with it.
It's Scotty. I saw a load of people fighting.
Yeah, man, look, but if I do that, you can hear it. You can't hear it, but you can hear it on the microphone.
Yeah.
I can definitely be like, it's good because you can still hear it if I do this. But it's good
That'll
for
be
TikTok. Good for TikTok videos.
Those bangs of the clothes, I'm gonna definitely have to mute down a bit, so it's not piercing.
But yeah, like I don't know. I think that the sound quality on this episode will be much better. These fucking little microphones are so shit, but they're actually really good quality. Which like the problem is the sound quality is good, but the build quality is bad. So this microphone might just fall apart in the next couple of weeks.
Well, it's lucky it's got a protective shell.
And fucking how?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week I'll be talking to you through subspace. I think.
Maybe. I don't know if the communicators do subspace.
I still don't know how subspace works.
It's lower than space or higher than space. It's a different dimension of space.
I think it's next to space. I think it's right next to it.
Space adjacent.
Yeah, it's space adjacent. It's just slightly to the right of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
as we've said for the last couple of weeks, I don't think we've got much to talk about for this episode. So I expect to finish talking in about 4 hours' time. So let's
cut
start.
it there.
Yeah,
you cut it there.
Cut.
There. That's where you cut it.
Yeah, yeah, and we end up with just full beards. The gag would be we'd cut there and say the recording cut out, so we have to start again, and we've just got full beards.
No, we cut to us with full beards, and we're just like, anyway, enough about Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Anyway, then the episode, the Elysian Kingdom.
The Elysian Kingdom.
Dun, dun, dun. As is tradition with Strange New Worlds, we've been starting every episode with a log, setting up whose episode it is. And we finally get a Umbenga log.
Finally!
Yeah.
Man, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I knew that it would, like, from the preview of the series to come, there was a clip of what we saw in this episode, which is Umbenga and Hema fucking about wearing gowns.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that when we get to that episode, it'll either be an Umbenga or a Hema episode. This week it was Umbenga's episode.
Thank God. So after
and I'll tell you what, Umbenga, the actor, I had his stuff up. The actor, God, his voice is fantastic.
It's so deep.
I don't know what it is. Like
it's almost like, too deep to be registered by microphones.
It's like it's raspy and deep, but also like oddly high pitched, and like I don't know what the deal with that actor is, but man, he has the voice of someone who has lived a life.
Yeah. He's in Dune. I only noticed on my week ago or 2 weeks ago review of Dune.
Yeah, he plays Jamis.
Yeah.
Jamis, yeah, man, one of the in the lore of Dune. Dune. I go with the Javier Bardem pronunciation. Dune.
Yeah.
Dune. With Dune, Jamis is his role within the narrative is somewhat downplayed. However, in the overall narrative of the saga of Dune, Jamis has his role is very important in the overall character evolution of Paul Atreides. And we won't get too much into Dune, but the way that they show him in Dune, the way that they show the different permutations of the way in which Paul might interact with a person that Jamis might fill the role of. Like, oh God, it's so confusing and good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actor.
It's a fantastic film, and I am still 250 pages through the book, and haven't done any in the last week, so I probably need to reread the last 50 page.
Babs. His name is Babs.
Babs.
Olasun Makun. Babs Olasun Makun.
I'm not even going to try and mispronounce it.
Babs. Babs.
Well, I'll call him Babs.
Olasun Makun.
Yeah. So we get the sultry tones of Babs.
Babs Olasun Makun.
His log is saying, they're surveying a nebula. There's nothing for him to do, so he's researching, spending time with Rokia. I've called her Kia in the past. I was close to calling her Nokia.
Yeah, I thought it was Nokia.
Yeah, it's Rokia. Rokia.
We've looked that up, have we?
Well, I went by what the subtitles were telling me. So
right, okay.
The subtitles on the completely official version of
Are
the
they
show.
rolling? Are they rolling the R? Is that why we're not picking up on it? They're rolling the R. Okay.
Yeah.
Rokia.
Rokia. So, as we know from previous episodes, he's been holding her in an existential hell, reading her the same novel over and over again. Terrifying, and having her beamed out and just stored in the pattern buffer, sometimes mid-sentence. Again, existential hell.
Rude.
Yeah.
Rude. Not only a hell, but rude.
Yeah. We know she materializes and goes, oh, you've read this part of the story before. We were up to further along in the story. Again, hell. She never sleeps. She just has a story read to her continuously. Hell.
Yep. Presumably, like, she doesn't, like, the worst thing is probably because she's, like, in stasis, she probably also doesn't need to sleep. So she's probably fully, like, aware. And I mean, obviously she's fully aware, but I mean, like, she's awake. All of the shit's firing.
I don't know if she is, because she doesn't know when she's being beamed out.
But there's nothing. But there is no there's no physical outward stuff affecting her body. So like every time she gets beamed back into that bed, she's fresh.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if she was hungry or if she needed the toilet. Is she like, oh,
Maybe
can you
not.
cook me something, Dad? And he's like, you're about to disappear in 30 seconds. I'll cook you something.
Yeah, mate.
Time.
I'll just put some food equations into the pattern buffer.
Yeah.
She might not ever be hungry.
Yeah.
Which is terrible because it means she's not enjoying delicious, spicy food.
Yum. And therefore not needing the expel that delicious, spicy food in the toilet eventually.
Yeah, she maybe doesn't need to go to the loo. She's probably got terrible, potty training habits.
Yeah.
I don't know how old children are when they're supposed to be. No.
No, I've got no idea how old kids are by the look of them.
No, I don't.
I understand that she's older than Leia and Luke, so she must be above 10, let's say.
Okay.
But 13, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe 8.
No, got to be older than 10. Got to be older than 10.
I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10 as a safety.
Okay.
I think 10 is fair because she's not.
Oh, we forgot to do We forgot to do episodes that you might like.
Oh yeah, I tell you what. Yeah,
I I
I
remember
think
this time.
just before we do episodes that you might like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that that girl and little Leia from Obi-Wan Kenobi are about equally pitched in a hand-to-hand fight. So I'm going to say they're about the same age, so I'm going to say 10.
Okay. I'd bet on Rukia. I reckon
Well,
Rukia's older.
like skill-wise, Leia, she's probably
Yeah,
feistier. But I mean, like base level, they look about the same weight class.
It's classic Trek versus Wars. Now we're
Yeah,
making
man, but we're just
the
getting the
kids fight.
children to like have like fuck yeah.
They are the next generation.
That's a great way to decide that shit.
Yeah.
So for this week's episode, if you liked our DS9 episode, Our Man Bashir,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna like this episode. If you like the Next Generation episode, Hollow Pursuits, you will like this episode.
Yeah.
If you like the weird, I think maybe a two-parter episode, I couldn't find the name of the episode, but there's an episode of Farscape where they go into a weird, like, Alice in Wonderland fueled hallucination that is quite clearly filmed in a car park.
Yeah.
It's in one of the later episodes. It's in one of the later seasons, and like in one scene, you can quite clearly see the lines on the ground of parking spaces.
You're just
You will like
describing
this
every
episode.
episode of Farscape, though. It's a hallucinatory nightmare.
If you like smoking weed,
yeah,
you will like this episode because it's really stupid.
yeah. Did you have any others for it?
This episode fits very neatly into a Star Trek playlist that I like to call, and this is a long-winded title for a playlist, regular actors get to play different characters, and they are fucking loving it.
I also had it in my one saying if you pick them or say them. Bride of Chaotica.
Bride of Chaotica, I was dubious about whether or not to put this because they are aware.
Yeah.
Because Janeway is aware.
Yeah.
I was trying to, there are some episodes of the actors getting to play different characters playlist where they're aware of it, and other episodes where they're not.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I would also say it's not where obviously people are unaware of the character they're playing. Oh, but Voyager, the 2 parts Hirogen, World War II.
Yes.
It's not Hunted.
No, but it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, someone at Star Trek headquarters loves Nazis, or loves bringing
God,
Nazis.
they fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's another playlist, though. The Nazi playlist.
The Nazi playlist.
Yeah, man. Who knew in Star Trek there would be so many episodes about Nazis?
Yeah. But I was thinking anytime you see Star Trek, people in Star Trek cosplay at Renaissance fairs. The people that show up to that.
Yeah, if you like memes of people in Star Trek cosplay at Ren fairs, then you will love this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So where were we? So it's Mbenga's log. He's talking about surveying a nebula. He's got nothing to do, so he's trying to fix Rokia. Rokia asks to hear the end of the story before she gets put back in the buffer. And the second Mbenga starts, pretty much she says, I don't like the end of this story. Can you change it? Fucking kids, man.
Fucking kids. Oh my god. The story is what it is.
I'm reading these pages.
You don't like it, write your own fucking story.
Which is what he says to her, thankfully.
Which is true. And that's how fan art is born. That's how fan fiction is born. Without that mindset, I wouldn't have the sickest fucking crew in all of Starfleet on my Star Trek Online,
Yeah.
including a character I didn't show you last week, Mad Jack.
Mad
I
Jack.
realized after showing you, I didn't show you Mad
Another
Jack.
serial killer.
No, he's got a kilt.
Okay.
He has like I've given him lots of abilities that mean he doesn't that he can carry a sword. He's designed after Mad Jack from the British Army in World War II.
All right.
You know
Yeah.
the Scottish guy that had the claymore and the kilt and the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Mad Jack. I wouldn't go anywhere in the galaxy without him.
Mad Jack. But the main
Anyway,
thing
carry
that
on.
Rokia wants to change is that, she'd like the Huntress to help. You know, this character in a book that we don't know enough about for it to matter before this episode.
I don't think we need to though, because like we're dealing with like fairy tale archetypes. I would say we're dealing with fairy tale archetypes, but the archetypes tap their marks. Archetypes, but as the series unfolds, they're not so much fairy tale archetypes.
No.
As they are like Dungeons and Dragons archetypes. Like there's a ranger, there's a paladin, you know, Hemmer's a paladin. Spork's a sorcerer. Splurk's a splurkerer.
Spork's and a spoon and a fork.
You know, like it's definitely but like we're dealing with archetypes. Like you kind of get it. You know, when the huntress shows up and it's like, okay, we've got a wood elf.
Yeah.
You know. But that doesn't happen yet.
No, but in the story, Umbenga's saying, we can't change this because the king's forced to choose up giving up this Mercury Stone weapon something or saving the princess. Done, closed book. Or Rokia asks to see Umbenga's quarters and he says, at some point you'll see the whole ship. As a reminder, she hasn't seen his quarters. She's his child. She is his child.
She has seen this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is an existential hell. Have one day where you set the transporter in the medical bay to beam her to your quarters. It doesn't have to be for long, but she wants to have something to her life that isn't this one chair, this one room, this one book, this one person to interact with.
I would say like the happiest we've seen this child, but I'll correct that and say the only time we have seen this child happy is when she was playing with that little boy who got sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like, that child is so lonely.
Do you reckon Umbenga said that to her, like, next time she was rematerialized, said, oh, your friend?
Yeah, man.
Your friend had a...
Do you remember beef jerky?
Yeah.
Do you remember beef jerky? Well, you remember your friend? Well, he looks like that now.
Yeah. We went past the planet that children...
Yeah.
We could have spared this child who would have a full and healthy life and passed you on instead. Obviously, we wouldn't ethically, but maybe it would have been better for that kid. I'm just being very hard to Rocky here.
Tell you what, Mike. That's evil. Dark.
Yeah, well,
But
needs the many. Needs of the child that will live a long time.
Needs of the many.
Yeah.
Needs of the many.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's dark.
I go dark once in a while.
Oh man, that's dark. I love it.
I mean, if this kid's got like 4 months in her, and they
burn
burn through kids in 2 months, ship her off to that planet. They can burn through her and go like, that saved a kid.
Just give her a haircut.
Yeah.
Kids all look the same. They're all genderless.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. We did talk about how nice that kid was, how he endeared himself to the crew. Has
That
Rukia
kid
endeared
was
herself
sick.
to anyone? Anyone other than Mbenga? No. Has she made friends with Spock? No. The only other crew member that knows about her, Una, she hasn't met. That would be a fair trade. That would be a more than fair trade. Dropping off this kid to die.
Hey man, could you imagine that scene? And instead of like Pike, like, "La, la, la," he's just like, yeah, here's the kid.
Yeah. He's like, no, don't sacrifice
Yeah,
that
like,
kid. We've got
hooking
one
him
of
up
our
this
own to
machine, and
sacrifice.
he's like, oh no, don't hook that perfectly healthy child up to that machine.
Yeah. Or he's like, he's doing that, no, don't hook up that kid to sacrifice him. We've got a kid that you can have instead.
If it has to be a kid,
Yeah.
her dad's a doctor.
He must agree to this ethically, possibly. Yeah. She's only wasting resources by being transported backwards and forwards again.
And then the next day, everyone's just like, we had like 5 hours missing from the logs, and we don't know what happened, but whatever happened, the ship is operating at like 2% extra efficiency.
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird. Very strange. Very strange. Anyway.
I mean, that's not a spoiler or anything for the
No.
end of the episode.
Nah. We'll get there. We'll get there. If you want to hear about how it's a spoiler, skip forward 2 hours in this recording.
2 hours, maybe.
Yeah. So Mbanga transports her back into the buffer and starts doing research for himself, mixing chemicals in beakers like he's, a high school chemistry teacher.
Yeah, man, old school, get with the pestle and mortar.
Yeah.
Who knows what he's fucking...
Yeah. He seems like an old school guy, really, Mbanga. He was
Yeah,
applying weird paste to Spock's head, wasn't he?
Well, I mean, presumably, if they're, it's like with Dr. Phlox, they're going through the galaxy. It's still early days in the progression of the Federation. They're probably picking up all kinds of weird plants.
Yeah.
That's how you extract shit from plants. You dry them out, you bash them up, you mix, you do all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
You bash them up, bash them off.
Yeah.
You mix in some baking soda, you boil it with water till it turns into a crystal. You stick it in a pipe, you smoke it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's crack.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Has he tried crack in curing Rukia? For all we know, crack is the main ingredient in
He says he's
curing
tried everything.
He's just like, here, Rukia, have a bit of this. I want you to just hold this pipe.
Within about 2 minutes, just turn the transporter back on. Just like, okay, that was a mistake. She would not shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But Mbenga mixing these chemicals and one blows up straight in his face. And we have the computer put an emergency force field around it after it's already, gone all over him. That could kill him in seconds.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, if that was amyl nitrate, he'd be dead.
Yeah. That could be, some weird, that could be the light virus again, or that could be the Naked Now virus, or something even worse. And it's just
that could literally, not even that. That could literally just be the fumes emitted by noxious chemicals that kill you.
Yeah.
There is a reason why, household cleaning chemicals, it says on the bottles not to mix them with other cleaning chemicals because you shouldn't inhale the fumes.
Yeah. Please don't try and make mustard gas, people watching.
He literally could have made mustard gas.
Yeah.
And if he'd have inhaled that, he'd be dead.
Yeah. But anyway, Una arrives in and wonders why the shuttle crew hasn't been checked over and cleared for duty. And it's because Mbenga's got lost in his work trying to cure his, dead daughter. His soon-to-die daughter. And she, tells him off and sends him to bed, really. Says, you can look at the shuttle crew after you get some sleep. because you're clearly
I mean, he's
overworked.
probably. I mean, she comes in. Why haven't the shuttle crew been cleared for work yet? Oh, because I've been so busy.
Yeah,
Oh, well, why don't you have a rest?
yeah,
Maybe clear the shuttle crew.
yeah. I mean, it's good management in a utopia where you don't need to clear the shuttle crew, but at the same time, you know,
Kind of
maybe there
feels
should
like
be
you
a
need to
different
clear that
doctor.
shuttle crew.
Yeah, or there should be a different doctor clearing that shuttle crew.
Kind of feels like you need more than one doctor in a
Yeah.
ship with 300 people.
We know at least in TOS times there's Bones and Mbenga. Where's Mbenga's, bones? Or where's Mbenga's Mbenga?
Where are Umbenga's bones? Are
Yeah.
they in the buffer?
Who knows?
But like,
Who knows?
yeah, it's definitely. It was weird to me that she came in. Why hasn't
Yeah.
this been done? Oh, because of these reasons. Oh well, never mind then.
Yeah. But then we jump to the bridge, and the survey is complete, and we're ready to go off exploring again. And Pike's really happy that isn't it nice to just be exploring and researching rather than no battles, no chaos, none of that guffing. We're just living a life doing exploring as the ship should be. Because he's a Boy Scout, isn't he? Really, as we know.
Yeah.
So they try and warp away. Nothing happens. Boom. Try and warp away again. Not only nothing happens, Ortega shakes the ship. Ortega knocks herself out. Great, good work.
It's so silly. Ortega like stands up like okay.
Yeah,
Ortega stands up purely to set up the
yeah,
Ortega's falling down.
yeah. I was like, why is she standing up to press warp? And I was like, okay, there we go. You know,
Ortega's falls down, hits her head. Mike, tell me, just off the top of your mind, what could have prevented that from happening?
what? Well, sitting down, seatbelts,
Sitting down, or if she had to stand up,
bracing herself.
some kind of railing.
Yeah, railings would be nice.
Railings!
Yeah, she'd only managed to fall over the railing though. I don't think we've had that yet.
Like
Someone,
topple over and like
Yeah.
catastrophically flip over and break both her legs.
well, we normally get that in a couple of track series. Like someone goes over the like Worf falls over the thing, or
Yeah.
in TOS the orange or red bar, depending on your TV set. Someone, the stuntman on set throws himself across it.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had that yet. Maybe next two episodes. But Mbenga hasn't even got into bed yet, and he's caught up to the bridge. Dun dun dun. But he's up in the turbo lift. He steps out, and the whole bridge, it's still the bridge, but it's dressed as a medieval fair, really.
Yeah, man, there's wall hangings. Shit looks like an eyes wide shut party.
Candles everywhere.
There's fabric hanging up.
Yeah,
It's just, but but it's still the bridge.
yeah,
So it's not even like Mbenga has stepped into a different world. He's just stepped in onto the bridge, and the bridge is covered in drapes.
yeah. And as well as the bridge being dressed up, everyone on the bridge is all dressed up as well. So,
Yeah, man, it's a Ren fair. It's a
Yeah.
Renaissance party.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing doublets and singlets and unitards and leotards.
Fluffy collars for Pike and stuff like that.
Ruffs.
Yeah,
So
ruffs. Yeah,
A ruff.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And it's all hail the king because Mbenga's the king of this Renaissance fair.
This, whatever the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Amazing performance by... I'm not even going to say... it's an amazing performance by Pike.
Yeah. I've noted down, because it's another comedy episode, really. Um,
Definitely.
all decent lines Pike says throughout as this cowardly chamberman.
Mr. Smithers.
Yeah,
Pike, Anson Mount playing the best live action portrayal of Mr. Smithers from The Simpsons that
yeah.
ever could be.
He's got that camp energy around him as well. Like him
So
and
camp,
Ortegas are playing off each other, and he's just rolling his eyes in the background.
rolling his
And
eyes.
later on in the episode, he slaps his wrist and goes, "Ooh."
Oh, I've been bad. I was never.
Yeah,
I'm so bad.
yeah. It's fantastic stuff that Pike this episode is pulling out all the stops acting wise.
The main, like Anson Mount's portrayal of Mr. Smithers is the main reason why this episode sits in the playlist of episodes where regular actors get to play different characters and they are loving it
Yeah,
because like this is a stupid character, but Anson Mount is giving it 110% the entire time.
yeah,
And he is clearly fucking loving it.
yeah. Again, stuff like this shows that how wasted he was as a mute, barely doing anything in the Inhumans TV show.
I mean, he's handsome, yes, but
Yeah. Did they give him his hair? No. Did they give him stuff like this? They did. They do
don't-
butcher his hair for this, I would say.
they definitely fucked it. But purposefully, it
Yeah.
wasn't out of malice.
No.
It had a point to it. However, look,
My boy.
I need something to stuff in my cheeks to go full Brando. Look how they massacred my boy.
I mean, the cheeks are working. But we're up on the bridge, and it doesn't take Mbenga long to realise that everyone is someone from this book that he's been reading to his kid.
Yeah, man. There's some weird like something weird going on. There's some interdimensional shit. For some reason, the story that he's been reading to his child has taken over the ship,
Yeah.
and in what I think is a wonderful bit of justice. Now Mbenga must live the living hell that he has put his daughter through for God knows how long.
Yeah. So
You
the
want to
characters
read me
were,
this fucking story? Will you be the fucking king, you son of a bitch?
and you'll live in it forever. So Pike is Sir Roth, the chamberman of the king, a cowardly character. As you were saying, it's all archetypes, isn't it? Really?
Mate, he's just like a primo kiss ass.
Yeah. We have Ortegas as Sir Adya,
Yes.
Um,
The chivalrous knight.
chivalrous knight, constantly looking out for the safety of the king.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Mbenga's in this. He's trying to work out. Oh, are the crew just playing a prank on me? He goes to a computer and they go, "Oh, do you mean the Oracle?" They do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's no anomalies. There's nothing wrong with the ship. There's nothing wrong with that. And he thinks maybe the gas that he poured into his face before that didn't kill him, maybe that's making him hallucinate.
Yeah, man. Maybe huffing all that paint wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah. But we get our first hint, or the characters who have lost their mind saying, "Oh, this fog." I'm pointing outside the view screen. This fog is terrible, and it will not pass, and all that. And it's just the nebula that they were surveying, really.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a nice. I don't know why I like that, but I like that.
Yeah.
This fog. What you mean? This giant kilometers wide mass of noxious gases and particles.
Yeah. All great stuff. All great stuff. So Umbenga wants
They'd
to.
never be able to watch 4K Paramount Plus through
No.
that fucking nebula,
No, they'd get worse quality than the UK and Ireland,
if you can believe it.
if you can. So Mbenga says, you know what, I'm going to go down to medical and use a magical device, a tricorder, to work out what's happening.
I mean, it is. It is a magical device.
Well,
Like,
it's the is it Asimov that anything you can't explain, anything sufficiently advanced looks like magic or whatever.
it wasn't Asimov. Arthur C. Clarke.
Arthur C. Clarke.
So-
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go to medical, and Chapel is there, and she is kind of not a witch, but she's got a cauldron.
She's a member of what we call up in Yorkshire. Up in Yorkshire, she's what we would call a member of the cunning folk.
The cunning folk.
Yes, that's what we used to call witches here in Yorkshire. I've got written down on my notes, Chapel is dressed as Old Mother Shipton.
Oh, okay.
Do you know?
I do not know Old Mother Shipton. This is some, northeast.
That's very local to Yorkshire.
Yeah.
So where I'm from in Yorkshire, which is a different part of England to where Mike is from, because England it consists of different areas.
And we don't move about. Don't move.
Generally.
Yeah.
But yeah, witches, as Chapel is shown, is I'll be honest. The Chapel's portrayal of a witch is actually probably one of the most realistic portrayals of a witch that I've seen in television.
Yeah. She reminded me a bit like, I don't know if you played the new God of War, but Freya from that.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's literally, someone goes to her, I've got a boo-boo on my elbow. And she goes, all right then, and chews up some weeds and then sticks it on your elbow, and then that heals it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Old Mother Shipton was a witch local to where I'm from. She made prophecies. She was mentioned in Good Omens.
Okay. My only notes for Chapel and how much they vary, I've got, she's almost examining Umbenga's chakra, and second note, she's tall as fuck.
Yeah, she's tall as fuck.
Yeah.
She's tall. She's tall. She's a tall one. And I also noticed those tattoos on her fingers, and on her wrist. They are there. Those are that actress's tattoos.
Yeah. Looking again, because I did cut them into the episode last week, I think it's the stunt performer who doesn't... They didn't mask, or they didn't put the tattoos on the stunt performer, temporary tattoos. So when it cuts to him, the stunt performer, no tattoos, and just to throw the guy over the shoulder or whatever.
Yeah.
But Mike notices. I noticed, disappearing tattoos. You can't fool me once.
You gotta be on that shit when Mike's about.
But Umbenga scans himself, and there's nothing wrong. He scans Chapel and her. What was it? I can't remember.
Her dopamine levels.
Dopamine, of course.
I clued into that because, as a person with ADHD, I have naturally low dopamine levels. So I'm watching this, and he's like, "Your dopamine levels are elevated," and I'm like, "Good for her."
That would be nice. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Never mind. But we then have La'an arrive as Princess Talia.
Oh, and doesn't she just arrive?
Yeah. So she's in a full princess gown,
puppy
in hand,
smoke machine, like she's coming out onto fucking stars in their eyes. What an entrance!
No one's gonna get stars in their eyes unless they're our age and from the UK. No one's gonna get stars in their eyes.
Look it up on YouTube. You'll love it. It's like Carrie. It's before X Factor and Pop Idol and American Idol,
Yeah.
there was stars in their eyes.
And instead of going on to multi-million-dollar recording contracts, they all went home back to work at the local butchers that they worked in beforehand.
Hey, one of them went back to a guitar shop in Harrogate.
Oof. But she's in a full princess outfit. Her dog that she's carrying is in a princess outfit. Did you think, because the dog is called Runa, did you think the dog was Una?
No, I didn't notice the dog was called Runa. Oh.
I thought the dog was Una, because
Named
where's
her
that dog come
after
from?
Her friend.
Yeah, I was like, where's that
Aw.
dog come from? Because I can understand making, illusioning dresses and stuff like that. But that's a living creature. Where's that dog? Is someone smuggling a dog like the Doctor's smuggling a daughter?
That was Ensign Ricky. What's his name?
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Kyle. That was Lieutenant Kyle.
Got turned into a dog.
Yeah, man.
And if we're going to shout out Pike for having, or Anson Mount for having, or acting very differently and pulling it off, I want to shout out Christina Chong.
Mate, wildly different character.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thoroughly irritating in the 2 scenes that she was in.
Yeah.
And played that thoroughly irritating exceptionally well.
That being said, I'm now wildly attracted to her. A woman in any sort of corset will get me.
You see, I was already attracted to her when she was being a badass. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Again, we are 2 very different people.
Yeah.
We have 2 very distinct...
She could be a badass in a corset. I just...
Nah, you see, like, I don't know what it is, but it's when she's... I like hair being tied up. I like punching.
When you say her being tied up, do you mean her?
Hair? No, I'm saying hair. No, I don't say her.
Her.
When I say hair, that's you. That's your lot.
Yeah.
We say hair and
hair.
Her.
Okay.
We don't even say the H. We say We say We've tied her up.
Tied her up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when she's being badass, when she's being princess, thoroughly
Not so
annoying.
much.
When she's like having a go at people,
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Well, in our fantasies, we can trade off the rejections from Christina Chong.
I'm just watching Umbrella Academy, and I've just seen a scene where the character who can whisper things into people's brains is yelling at Elliot Page.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I've never been more attracted to that person when she's screaming in his face. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. My partner has such big biceps. I don't know what it is.
I mean, whatever
My
revs the
mother is
engine,
such a
man.
knob.
Whatever
I
revs
think
the
it might have to do with that.
It's, as I say, it's to each their own. Whatever revs people's engine is all good, really.
Yeah, man.
If your engine gets revved, get your engine revved wherever it gets revved.
Yeah, man. You can rev my engine by yelling at it.
Ladies, remember that for even. There we go. But there we're setting up, I suppose, the story that's Mbenga already knows. So the princess comes in and says, or Laan comes in, who's the princess, and says, "Oh, the Queen Neve or Neva,
Nev.
I've written it down as Never, of course.
In my head, I kept thinking, are they meaning to say Maeve or Neve?
Yeah.
Because Queen Maeve, that's a character from The Boys.
The Boys, yeah.
Queen Neve, that's a character from Celtic mythology.
Yeah. But
probably somewhere between.
Yeah. Nev is there, and the treaty that they have has been broken, and Nev has stolen. Queen Nev has stolen the princess's kingdom, and somehow got it in the nose. Again, it's all on the Enterprise. It's just following the book, I suppose. And Princess Talia La'an has come to Pike saying, "Can you use the Mercury Stone, your miracle weapon, to stop the Queen Neve?" So they all go trotting out, or they hear out the door Hemmer being carried away by the Crimson Guard.
Oh wait, is this when they set out to find the swamp of infinite death?
No, this is slightly before that. So the swamp of infinite death comes from Spock a bit in the future.
Right, okay.
So
there must be such a big gap in my notes where I was just sat watching it going, what the fuck?
Yeah, can't understand what's happening here. So the Crimson Guard is the other woman from Ops.
Yeah, man. I kept thinking, this episode. I was like,
yeah,
man, I think she's navigation. That navigator is.
See, I can't remember what the TOS stations are. I always assumed she was Ops.
It's helm and navigation at the front.
It? Okay.
So yeah, that navigator, she is. She's pushing her luck in terms of the amount of danger she's putting herself in.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing? We know who or where she sits on the bridge, despite her having, barely being featured.
Yeah.
Who sits in what position on Discovery? Other than the two up front, because they're the...
whoa.
Yeah,
she's
no,
the navigator.
They're up front. I'm not letting you have the ones up front. They're literally in every shot, so you can't have them.
Philip?
No.
Philip is tactical. Steven?
Bryce. No.
Bryce?
No, Bryce is the other one. It's Reese is tactical.
So that's Philip.
Yeah. There's Bryce and replacement.
What was the name that you just said?
Bryce and replacement Bryce.
Bryce is communications.
Yeah, who had to leave the show a couple of days before the end of Discovery and got replacement Bryce, who looked the exact same.
And the cyborg. Ariam.
She hasn't been in it for 2 seasons, mate. The actress has been, as someone else.
Michael Burnham.
Oh, yeah.
Saru.
Yeah.
Boom.
But isn't it so different that we know, the people on the bridge in this in less than 10 episodes, and we're still who the fuck is Bryce?
The crew are the focal point. We know it's
Yeah.
Uhura, La'an, Ortegas, the navigator who's pushing her luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know all of those people.
Yeah. Whereas season 1 of Disco, beyond Detmer maybe, I had no clue who any of those people were, and still don't.
Yeah.
To some degree. But yeah, she's part of the Crimson Guard, the Evil Queen's, attack force, whatever, and she's dragging away Hemmer, who knows all this is an illusion. Hemmer, he's turned up. What does it mean?
It's Hemmer!
We need a celebrate. I'll put in the background. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Hemmer's back in this bitch.
Yeah, he's back. It's all good. He's been gone for 4 episodes or something like that. He's back.
Man. I'll tell you what.
The big man is back.
I know exactly why he's been gone, because he's been working on his quips.
Yeah.
Because this episode, Hemmer is fantastic.
Yeah. He's... I somewhat cynically think Hemmer isn't in a lot of the episodes because the actor is blind.
Hmm.
And
It's
I
easy to think that that's a difficult thing logistically to work
yeah,
around.
yeah. Like when it came to filming Eternals with um, whoever the speedster was, uh,
The deaf actress,
yes,
actor,
the
the deaf actor.
the deaf actor. Um, that apparently there were Angelina Jolie had to come up with a way to signal that it was this actor's time to speak because there wasn't a industry standard for that being used in Disney.
Wow, like such a simple thing,
Yeah, which is
such a
bad,
simple thing.
you know.
Like I work in hospitality,
Yeah,
right? I've waited tables, I've tended bar for years.
mm,
I have dealt with countless people that that are deaf,
yeah,
and I have learned little bits of sign just
mm,
because of how it relates to my job,
yeah,
and it's all simple stuff. Eat,
yeah,
like that's the sign for
yeah,
food. That's the sign for drink. Like it's all so simple.
yeah.
How has the process not been simplified in one of the most successful industries in the world?
Yeah. And, I haven't heard reports, so I will say I haven't heard reports that that is the reason when it comes to Strange New Worlds. But I know there was that reason when there was that difficulty for the deaf actor when it came
Yeah,
to Eternals.
it's fair to assume that there's probably an important factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's back. The big man is back. And he sees, or he senses reality for what it is. But he's being dragged away by this guard, and they think he is Castor the Wizard. He's a wizard. Why not?
Yeah, he's a wizard, Harry, but he's screaming like, "The fuck's wrong with you all?"
Yeah,
Like he doesn't get what the fuck is going on at all. He's not he's an Ina. He probably doesn't even have a and he's blind. He doesn't have a reference for what's going on. So
no,
like as far as he's concerned, something weird happened, and then everyone's just runs up to him like, "Art thou the wizard?
yeah,
Thou art the wizard." And he's like, "Why are you saying thou art?"
yeah.
Like, yeah, he's
Poor confused guy. But he gets carried away, and the crew that is, or the group that is there, with which is Lan the princess, Ortega's the bodyguard or the king's guard, Pike the chamberlain, all get told by Mbenga that he doesn't have the the Mercury stone, the Mercury whatever, but Castor does. So they're going to have to try and rescue Castor.
yeah.
And they all go back to a briefing room and look at a map. And did you have a glance at the map when they were looking at it?
I didn't
Oh,
see the map. What
you,
did the
you,
map
you
say?
missed what I thought was the best visual gag of the episode is that the map it's like a scroll from Lord of the Rings or anything like that with hills on it, but it's in the shape of the Enterprise. So there's only hills and stuff like that in the Enterprise from a side-on view.
Oh, what? How did I miss that? You
Yeah.
have to find that.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that. I love that. And it's only on there for a second or so. It's fantastic.
Oh man, I've got to find that. Right, sorry.
I'll cut it into the episode if you want.
That's awesome. Oh my god,
Such
that is
such
gonna
a
get
fun
used.
visual.
That is gonna get used in so many Dungeons and Dragons tournaments.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. That's amazing. I
As I say,
love it.
it's one of the best things
Mwah!
of the episode.
Chef's kiss detail.
Yeah. I'd missed La'an singing as well, which was a chef's kiss of the humor of the episode, where she's just saying,
Wonderful.
"When you fall in battle, I will sing for you," and she does a yeah.
Although I will say the actor whose name is
Christina Chong.
hitting those notes.
She is. She is.
Got some pipes.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh man, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where we meet Spock.
Spork, Splurk.
who is Pollux the Wizard. Not Pollux, who I believe was Nick Cage's character in, was it Face Off? Was Pollux?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was yeah. There was a couple. There's a few things. I think there's also like a disease. Basically, it's a really not nice sounding word that's
Yeah.
great for the name for a villain.
But he's Pollux the Wizard, the brother of Castor. So I went Pollux from Face Off to Castor Troy. Pollux
My
is
God,
Nick
Pollux
Cage's
is the
brother.
name of the brother from Face Off.
I'm all about the Face Off connections, man. It's all Face Off now.
Wait, let me just make sure that's right.
Yeah. Just
Pollux
double
Troy. That's the name of the brother. Oh my God. So
I
Emma-
have no doubt.
Hemmer
that-
is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I think we're going to be the only fucking people that
Oh
have
my God.
the
My
stupid-
mind is blown. Castor and Pollux back again.
Back again. We're definitely going to be the only people who, even close to pick up on that if it was intentional. If it wasn't intentional, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's so funny.
But we've got Spock in. He's borrowed Elna's wig from Picard season 2.
Yeah, man.
And
Not a great look, I'll be honest.
And he's half regrown his beard from Discovery season 2.
Right on.
Again,
All right.
not a great look. He says, the Queen has Hemmer, or the Queen has Castor Troy. Mbenga says, will you help us free Castor Troy? He says, if you promise that, you're going to not rescue him for using his powers, you're going to rescue him and set him free. Because I'm his brother, I'm clearly a good guy, even though I dress in all black in a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like Grima Wormtongue, but you can trust me.
Yeah. I was getting Wormtongue vibes from that dude. But that's where it's coming into the Swamp of Sadness or whatever it is.
Yes, what was it, the Swamp of Infinite Death? Yes, the Swamp of Infinite Death.
Yeah.
Great. It makes you think of that scene from Neverending Story.
Yeah. Poor
Who
horse.
doesn't love being reminded of that horse drowning to death?
Even if that horse, the horse actor, didn't drown to death, that was a horse actor that was thoroughly distressed.
Yeah, no, that horse had PTSD.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
And it's not like horses can stay away from mud, is it really?
No.
They're going to be ridden around a paddock surrounded by fields. There's going to be mud everywhere for the rest of that horse's life.
Yep.
So Spock says, he can lead them a way that goes past or avoids the swamp, and it's a Jeffries tube. So we're up a Jeffries tube again. Second time in 2 weeks. Fantastic.
Jeffrey, good old Jeffrey Tubes.
Good old Jeff Tubes. And this is where we have our reveal of who the Queen is.
At this point, I was thinking it was going to be Una.
Yeah.
Totally thought it was going to be Una, but nah, man. You want to get the theatre actress to do the really camp scene chewery.
Yeah. And maybe you fell in love with her because she was being a strong woman.
I mean, you are not wrong there, Mike. Like, that is definitely the most attracted to Uhura I have been.
Yeah,
in this iteration when she was being all evil.
yeah. So she's
Yeah.
doing a Bride of Chaotica, really.
Loved
Um,
it. Loved it.
or uh, Discovery Mirror. All the bad guys are doing Discovery Mirror acting. Really, they're all no, you'll get them and
I'll get you, my pretty.
yeah, they're
Witch,
doing
the
that
Wicked
sort of
Witch of the West.
yeah, with dagger fingers, little dagger fingers on.
Yeah, man.
But the group has been betrayed by Spock, by Pollux Troy from Face Off,
Yep.
and they're all led in there. And this is where we get Pike slapping his wrist and going, "Ooh," hurting himself. And Uhura's or the Queen is ready to send them all to the torturer to get out information of where the
Yes.
weapon is.
Yes, because they're interrogators. What was the word she said? Said something like, "Oh, they look everywhere. They know where to look." And I'm like, are they gonna look up his butt
Yeah,
with this fucking mercury stone? Is that what she's saying? Is just like,
glove.
are they the TSA?
Yeah,
Are they the TSA? Are they gonna look up Mbenga's butt for this fucking stone so they can evolve their Pokemon or whatever? Like,
this fucking mercury stone. Which again, hopefully it's not actually mercury because mercury's just liquid.
yeah, man, don't lick it.
Yeah, if he's got it up his butt, then it's
Yeah, oh,
liquid.
yeah, no, you definitely can't have the
Yeah.
mercury stone up your butt.
No. But
Yeah,
it
man.
quick scene, and then it just ends with the crew in the transporter room because I don't think they've got a brig set, and they're reunited with Hemmer again.
No, you have a good point there. They
Yeah.
should have been in the brig.
Yeah, they don't have a brig set, so
Yeah.
it's just the transporter room with bars.
No, let's put them somewhere they can't escape. I know. Let's put them on the transporter pad.
And Hemmer, for this technological genius, has been locked on the transporter pad for a while and hasn't just transported himself away. Obviously, he can't get to the controls, but you'd think he could open up the bottom and just.
He do something.
Yeah.
He does something.
He does something later on, so
Yeah.
But this is where we have Mbenga explain to Hemmer about the Elysian Kingdom book and how he's been reading it to his daughter, and Hemmer explains that there's this consciousness from outside the ship, and the only thing that stopped him being took over or going daft was his own telepathic. There we go. That's the word. Telepathic. Telepathic training and his abilities have saved him. But it was painful, but he repelled it away. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was like squeezing his brain through his nose, which is lovely. Why not? But to get out of the prison of the transporter room, Hemmer pulls out his powerful magic, which is just a laser scalpel thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
How did you do that? I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard. He does what would a human magician say at this point sort of thing. It's abracadabra. I like that. Psst. Look away. You'll be blinded. I won't, but you will.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love it. He's great. Like I say, this episode, that's the reason why we haven't seen him for ages, because he's been doing personnel training on how to be quippy with your relentlessly quippy crew that you've managed to find yourself with.
But Uhura's sending Spock out to hunt down the group, and this is where there's a sword fight between Ortegas and
A bunch of them,
including
but yeah, Ortega's just square up to that navigator.
yeah.
And in this moment again, I'm thinking,
You're not a main cast member. You could very much die in
Ticking
this.
time bomb, that navigator.
Yeah. It was at this point, and they do. And Benga does say something about it a couple, a scene later or whatever. But I was like, no one seems concerned. All these crew members could be stabbed to death. All of them. All of them could die in this. Uhura could be, throwing them into the warp core. Anyone against her. And then Benga's like, okay. And then he says something like, we've got to end this fantasy before someone gets seriously hurt. You're like,
oh, what, like, say if someone gets, like, hit with an arrow.
Yeah. Multiple
like
people.
They just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we better sort this out before someone gets hurt. Like these guys.
Yeah. And again, Mbenga's a doctor and he's just like, oh, these guys have been hit with an arrow. These crew members of mine, they might be out of their mind at the moment. Nah.
They'll be fine.
They'll be cool. Why not?
'Tis but a flesh wound.
Yes. Yeah. But it's Una that saves the day, coming in as the ranger character, the huntress of the forest, knocking all these guys down with arrows.
Aragorn.
Yeah. She's all shooting people to save them so they can go to engineering. And Hemmer's scanning the nebula. He finds a consciousness but no body. And that's where he comes up with this.
Which was cool. Like, at that point in the thing, like, that's when we start actually getting fed some details about what's actually going on. And, like, it finds a consciousness.
It's still very, to me, and Futurama parodied it when they did the Star Trek episode for them, when they had half the crew back. But, flowing green hands in space that have no body to them, but they're just out there for some reason.
Yeah, there's the Next Generation episode. One second, I'm just looking it up. That it reminded me of where they fly into the black expanse that has like an identity and it's messing with them.
The one with the face. It's Magellan or something like that, isn't it? Nagilum. There you go. Hemmer suggests that it's a Boltzmann brain. A spontaneous consciousness that just emerged in the middle of space.
Yeah. So I did look up the Boltzmann brain as well. Sorry, let me get that up as well.
Okay.
Because that is it's actually, so the Boltzmann brain is just reading off Wikipedia. The Boltzmann brain thought experiment suggests that it might be more likely for a single brain to spontaneously form in a void rather than for the entire universe to come about in the manner cosmetologists think it actually did.
Okay.
So it's basically, it kind of links into things like simulation theory, where, like, when we look at the evolution of humanity, so much of our evolution is predicated on happenstance. If you believe in panspermia, then like a asteroid happened to fall onto Earth to create life, and then another asteroid happened to fall on Earth to eradicate the dinosaurs and to create the Ice Age. And then humanity happened to evolve in a certain way, and our plate tectonics happened to move in a certain way, that human migration went in a certain way. Like, so much of evolution and societal migration, it's all predicated on chance, that on paper it is more likely that
a spontaneous consciousness would erupt.
Yeah, that like it's more likely that this is all a simulation.
Yeah.
Or that like it's more likely for a consciousness to just, well, it's according to the Boltzmann brain thought experiment, it's as likely for a consciousness to spontaneously like happen as it is for it to happen gradually over eons of evolution.
Yeah. Okay.
From what I can tell, there's a lot of holes in the theory, but holes that have been filled in by other philosophers and theoreticists over the years, resulting in more and more questions, resulting in more holes and things, as all philosophical theories have been. But that is the base.
And who doesn't love a hole in a filled hole, really? Hemmer posits, I believe, that the entity must be reading Mbenga's mind if it's coming up with a story that he tells his kid or a story that he knows. And he suggests to Mbenga that maybe we can break the connection between you and the entity by hurting you. And Una is all up for it, and Ortega's isn't. And we find out that that those two are more connected in the book than they should be, and they are banging. You know, it's more horniness in Star Trek.
We know each other
Quite well. Yeah. Mbenga realizes because those two characters that Una and Ortega's are playing have this connection, whereas in the original book they didn't.
Yeah.
It's Rockia's, the Nokia 3210's version of the story. So the entity must be reading Nokia, Rockia, and not himself.
Yeah, they're reading it off a tiny little screen.
Yeah. So let's hightail it up. You know, it's an episode with a lot of moving across the ship because we're back in medical again.
Yeah, they need that. They definitely need that segue that Pike put a request in for.
Yeah. Zoom. All the way. If you've forgotten that, it's on one of the previous episodes we talked about. Got it in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Back in medical though, and Rocky is not in the transport. She was beamed out earlier, but the ship won't tell her where. And Mbenga's...
in that moment, I got an immediate pit in my stomach when he's like, Nokia's not in the fucking buffer.
Yeah,
it was like a.
She's loose. it's like Alien.
It was I don't know. It was kind of like an intense, acute empathy.
Yeah.
Where I got hit by the feeling of not knowing where my child was. And it was like, oh, I don't have a child.
That you know about.
Just in that moment, just the sheer panic he must have been feeling in that moment of Nokia not being in the fucking buffer.
Especially considering the more time she spends out the buffer. You know, she's counting down the weeks or days before she's a goner.
Yeah.
See, I have no such empathy, as we talked about before. Kill that.
I say, I don't like children. I don't care for the children. And it was a weird one because, like I say, it was like I was just hit by a wave of acute empathy for Mbenga in that moment.
Yeah.
Just like, whoo.
And Mbenga has to explain to Hemmer that Rockia is, terribly ill and she needs to be back in the buffer. So they've got to find her. And it's Hemmer the one that says, well, try and think about where she would go. Rather than, let's approach this a different way. If she was loose, where would she go other than here?
Oh, let's see. Absolutely anywhere else but this room.
Yeah. Home. Anywhere. To a planet. Why doesn't this kid who is stuck on decks all their life not want to go to a planet? But she wants to go to her dad's quarters, which I get.
I'll tell you why. And it's only because this is the truth. Children, regardless of how wonderful they are, children are stupid. Children are stupid. If I was her, the ship would have been turned inside out and Like, I was a disturbed child. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't a stupid child, but I was a weird child. That ship would have turned into an MC Escher painting.
Yeah.
This child, quite an innocent stupid. And so it becomes an innocent situation. But, like, if they'd have got, like, a disturbed child,
Which this child has all the right in the world to be.
they'd have been so fucked.
Yeah. But we've got Spock snooping in, and he goes back to Uhura and says the child is the Mercury Stone. So we've got to steal the child, and we've captured Pike, who ran off before. I just love Pike in this scene where he's, unhand me, you brute. I'm too
You
young
brute!
to die.
Unhand me, you brute!
Yeah. Again, great having something else for
He is having a
Mount to do.
blast.
Yeah.
He is having so much fun.
Yeah. It's fantastic stuff. It's fantastic.
It just reminds me of Avery Brooks playing the Bond villain in Our Man Bashir.
Yeah.
It's just like
Just
he's
having
having
fun
a
with it.
He's having so much fun.
Avery Brooks doing his weird laughs. Yeah. We get to Umbenga's quarters though, and Pike's there, and he's double crossed them, and all the villains, all of them are there.
Yeah, man. I love this Umbenga, like, yeah, he's betrayed us. Because
Yeah.
that's what he does in the book.
Yeah, I
Which
should have
forgotten
known.
about.
Yeah,
Which you would, like, that's the... I love that because it's such a stupid mistake. Like, yes, he betrays them in the book. But I forgot that happens in the book because it's a stupid book.
a book
And
that
I've
he's
read it a
so
million
many
times, and it's just like,
But fortunately, Hemmer's ready to bust out his magic again, and he starts doing all threatening to send her to the dark dimension.
Oh, with my powerful powers of power.
Yeah, and whips out a communicator.
Yeah, man.
And
It's not it. He's about to send them to the event horizon.
yeah,
The event horizon filled with darkness and demons and Sam Neill
and Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne and Sean Pertwee.
Yeah, great film.
Ooh.
What a shame that film, most of it is lost on the cutting room floor. Eh?
One day someone will find those.
Yeah,
Someone will find that shit.
hopefully. But the magic, Hemmer's all happy with himself, and the magic of science prevails. So we find Rockier. She's healthy. She doesn't have her weird wasting away disease, and
Yeah,
her
she's
friend,
cured.
the entity, the Nebula, made her better. And she's all for playing this game with her human chess pieces, really, and doesn't really explain that it's hurting people. And it feels very Umbenga's explaining, no, we've got to put things back together, which felt very explaining to young kids, no, you've got to put your toys back in the fucking box after you've played with them,
Yeah.
please. I don't want to have to tidy up after you. Please just put your toys back in the box.
Yeah, and like that's basically what's happening,
Yeah.
because we're dealing with a child's understanding of what's going on.
Yeah,
She's like, I've been watching you. You look like you've been having a blast.
yeah,
And Benga's like, I mean, yeah, I've been having fun. Like,
yeah,
have you been having fun? He's like, yeah,
yeah,
but can't play forever.
yeah.
Gotta go bed.
Gotta go back.
Go the fuck to sleep.
But we get Hemmer stride in and says he can act as a conduit for the entity, for the Nebula to speak through him. he'll just lower his psychic bloody hell, telepathic
Tell him a
barriers.
Bethany. Tell him a
Telepathic.
Bethany.
Yeah,
Tell him a Bethany.
yeah. And one day I'll say it straight off on, after 2 beers, completely
Oh,
fine.
no, I'll be sad when you do.
Yeah. Telepathic barriers he's going to bring down and let the entity, take control and speak through him. And we find out that the entity only did all the stuff it was doing, or did all this shit because it was lonely and found a kindred soul in Rockia because she was lonely as well because she has a horrific life.
Yeah.
And wanted to give her a childhood because Umbenga hasn't given her a childhood again because it's a horrific life.
Yeah, he's kept her in a prison. Like the entity sees the child in a prison because the child is in a prison.
Yeah.
And like we do hold the we've held the fact that like the child is in a prison kind of against Umbenga, but like the child is dying.
Yeah.
But there is an argument to be had of like, where do you draw the line at a fate worse than death?
Yeah.
Like is this existence a fate worse than death? Or is it a necessary evil in order to get this child to this point? And if it is a necessary evil to get this child to this point, how the fuck, like, you're banking on a miracle to happen?
Yeah. Because, Umbenga doesn't know there's going to be a nebula that can cure her. He's just testing out weird gases and mustard gassing himself.
He's mustard gassing himself on shit that rando whose child got sacrificed gave him.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, there could be a cure in that. Does it matter? Does it come up in this episode? Not really at all.
That's the thing. Like, does it, even if it, like, it might come up in the future.
Doesn't matter after this.
This entity, like, we're jumping ahead minutes, but like this entity is offering to take this child, essentially cure the child, and not only cure the child, but give this child a chance to become what is earlier in the episode referred to as a god.
Yeah.
A disembodied consciousness that can manipulate reality around them. Like,
they just have to give up their skin. They have to give up their body to just live as consciousness.
Fuck it, bodies are gross. Bodies make poo. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give the child away.
You know what I've got in my notes though for this whole point about this nebula is willing to cure the kid. This nebula can change how reality looks to people, and he's willing to cure this kid. He says the kid is cured in my presence. I'll keep the kid. She can live as consciousness with me. It's a bit fucking suspicious, isn't it? I mean...
Oh, it's so sus.
If this wasn't a nebula, if this was a different ship that went past and said, your kid can live happily with us. Happily. You just have to live on our ship forever.
Yeah, no, like,
we're an immortal being. We've got free candy written on the side of our ship, and we're just looking for children to pick up that we can cure.
Yeah, like the fact that the entity speaks with a nice, soft lady's voice.
Yeah.
I think and the fact that they're speaking through Hammer, who we all objectively love.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely going from, it's going to be a lot different. One sec, let me get the picture up.
Yeah, that's Nick Elam.
Wait, this, I'll look after your daughter.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't worry about me. I'll cure your daughter's cancer.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. I'll give her everything she wants. It's going to be a completely different fucking story.
Yeah,
Nothing to worry about here. Hey, man, I'll look after your daughter.
yeah. I honestly won't try and sleep with her. Well, why did you say
Yeah,
you'll
man,
sleep
I
with her?
won't try anything weird with your daughter.
Yeah. Real fucking suspicious. And you know what makes it worse for my
Pretty
like
sus.
for my thinking that she's being abducted like by free candy on the side of it. When she gets started to like turn into energy, she goes like, "Ooh, it tickles," and I'm like,
Oh, I didn't like that at all.
"Ooh, ooh,
I
no,
did not like that at all.
no, please, no, thank you."
Did not like that at all.
I'm like, okay, this entity, which may or may not be a child abductor, that Mbenga is, you know, he'd prefer his kid to be cured and stay with him.
Yeah.
But it links to the story of, oh, you've got to, the king knew he had to give up the Mercury Stone, whatever.
Yes.
And it's like,
and that's a beautiful thing, you know. It's you know, if you love something, you let it be free.
yeah. But there's no checking that goes on because the crew is in no position to check that this entity isn't a child abductor kind of entity at all. Which
No, there's no government checks. There's no background checks. We don't know if this entity has a criminal record.
Yeah.
We don't know if the nebula is on any kind of list.
We don't know if this nebula just it does this to every ship that goes past and just eats a consciousness. A consciousness needs to like willingly hand itself over, but it just snacks on it.
Yeah.
And
totally.
And then when like old Rockia turns up again, how do we know that's actually Rockia? That could be the entity projecting in. Well, now that I've snacked on your daughter's energy after she willingly gave herself up, I know what she was thinking, so I can project her. I've got all my memories because I could remember the book, so why can't I remember her mother's name?
Yeah. I've been digging around in your brain. I know what your dead wife looked like.
Yeah.
I know what Nokia looked like. I can
put two and two together and just present Nokia as this, you know, your ex-wife.
For all we know, this entity could be the entity from that episode of Voyager.
Which one?
The one where it's just a big mouth that pretends to be a wormhole back to the fucking back to Earth.
Yeah.
And there's what's his face. He's one of the all-time great that guys of film, and he's been in loads of Star Trek.
Who's constantly trying to go against it or whatever.
Yeah,
he understands that it's an illusion.
Get out of the mouth for years and years.
Yeah.
And every time he nearly gets out, it makes him think it's getting out, and it leads him back in.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this final act, all I could think was that entity is going to kill that kid or abuse that kid, and having it turn into energy and going, oh, that tickles. No, thank you.
Yeah, I will say the entity is not grooming that child. Yeah. It's not grooming that child, but it's not grooming them.
Yeah.
Especially because the child gives them a name. What's the name they give him? Deborah? Deborah?
Well,
Deborah is definitely the name of a middle-aged woman.
Yeah. You'll think you're leaving your child here, you know, in a good place because she's come back and said that she's had some great adventures in the last bit, and she's named the entity Deborah after her mother. You know, it's all not nice. It's not good. Don't like it. No, thank you, please.
But that's just us being cynical. That's just us being cynical and, like, appropriately suspicious.
Yeah. Even if it's just being cynical.
That's not what happens. It's not what happens.
It's not what happens. It's not implied to be an abductor.
As dark as we're catastrophizing it.
Yeah. It's not implied to be an abductor who eats the souls of children who give themselves willingly to it. It's not it I mean, it would be a good Stephen King crossover if before it crashed to Earth or
Well,
a
I mean,
different
like
it.
I say, that it's not. We don't have any defining evidence that it isn't the entity from that episode of the Voyager or
Yeah,
like it.
yeah,
I guess, like, if there is a deeper meaning to this whole episode, I guess it's about, if you love something, let it go.
yeah.
But
Or at
that
least
just
knowing
feels
when to
kind of
let go.
shallow.
Yeah,
And I mean, like, unless we're setting up the character of Mbenga to have like issues in the future,
yeah,
because he's got to. What I think did it for me was in that moment where Nokia comes back. There is, from what I understand about parenthood, from what I understand from being around my partner and her son, and from long in-depth conversations with my parents over the years about what the fuck's wrong with me.
yeah,
Every parent wants to know that their child is going to be okay. Like, I'm not going to use myself as an example, but I'll use my brother as an example.
yeah,
If I could go back in time and tell my mother where my brother is at now,
yeah. All ended
that
up
would
all right.
like it would mean so much to my mother.
Yeah,
If I went back and told my mother where I am now, she'd be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
yeah,
But the knowing that your child is going to be okay, like that means a lot, and that's why Mbenga, he doesn't shed a tear until he knows that she's okay. Like when he sees her go, he's obviously very emotional, but he's obviously just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And then when she comes back, it must be such like an immediate relief that, oh God, my daughter is okay. Not only is she okay, she's essentially a god,
yeah.
and she has a girlfriend. Like, it's a beautiful, like in that respect. Like, yeah, it's a fucking beautiful moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I just couldn't. I couldn't mentally leap over him allowing. Let's say not giving up, but allowing his daughter to have the choice to leave to an entity he knew barely anything about.
I'm imagining that there's maybe a deleted scene where we see him trying out the stuff that the guy from Lava Planet. I imagine there's maybe a deleted scene on the cutting room floor of him trying out all that stuff and it not working.
Yeah.
And him being basically like, I have tried literally the most advanced medical technology that I have come across whilst surfing the stars.
Yeah.
And so, for him to be okay with this happening, it literally must have to be like this. This is the last ditch effort.
Yeah. No, I do get that. And
at the start of the episode, he says that, the child was given months to live, and that months has dwindled down to weeks, to days, to the point where, to the doctor's estimates, his daughter has hours to live.
Yeah. She looks bloody healthy for having hours to live.
Look totally fine to
Yeah.
me. She looks totally fine.
I hope he got a second opinion at some point because she looks completely fine. She
Looks
is
completely fine. She's running around with that kid who got sacrificed.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, it's banking on a risk, whereas let's say Wesley does a similar thing going off with the traveller who could be another child abuser that they've just met a couple of
Oh, if you
times.
watch the first episode with the traveler in,
Yeah.
that is a predator. Like that. I'm sorry, but like the traveler is 100% a predator.
Episode
You
title Where No Man Has Gone Before. One I can remember.
and that's yeah. That episode, the traveler, super creepy.
Yeah.
The next episode with the traveler, super vague and weird.
Well, the one where he pretends to be, I can't remember if it's the next episode, but the last one he's in, where he picks up Wesley and they go travelling. Yeah, who takes Wesley on a spirit journey in a tent, filling in.
Yay! Because who doesn't love cultural stereotypes?
But not only that, let's say it's not a stereotype. You've locked this child, who's still a child or a very young adult, let's say, in a tent with possibly drugs, smoking them out, and then that kid comes out with a completely different personality, and is suddenly, oh man, I want to go off with this dude. He's like so great. He opened my mind, man.
Hey, do you want to know what's worse than drugs? You want to
Pedophilia.
know what? No. Well, yeah. But yeah,
I'm going to cut it
pedophilia is
there. I'm going to cut
absolutely
it
worse
when
than
you
drugs.
said no.
But no, in those like tents, in those sweat in the
Yeah.
like sweat lodges, what's worse than drugs is like you are inducing hallucinations through like physical conditioning.
Yeah.
So he's like the reason why people hallucinate when they're in sweat lodges is because they're fucking dehydrated because they're sweating.
Yeah.
So it's like physical abuse.
Yeah.
Physically, he's essentially beating the shit out of him until he hallucinates.
Yeah. So yeah, it's better than Wesley being abducted by a guy that's physically
Yes,
abused.
this episode is better than that.
Yes. Yeah. I will give it that. I will give it that.
Yes.
No doubt. But we find out anyway that no one else other than Mbenga can remember. And we find out when Una comes to visit him and says, Mbenga starts talking about his day, pretty much. And Una's like, oh, you remember the 5 hours? Why has he not told the rest of the crew before then?
Where would you start? Where would you even start? Like, he probably, like, woke, like Hemmer wakes up and he's like, are we in your quarters? He probably just went, and just, like, left and went to sickbay.
Yeah.
He's probably, like, I thought the same thing. Like, have you not discussed this with anyone? But, like, he's probably hasn't said a fucking word to anyone.
But if Una
Like,
didn't
I
come
wouldn't
in
be
then...
in the mood. I would not be in the mood to talk to people after that.
But if Una didn't come in then, is Una going to come in like in a couple of weeks' time and be like, oh, how's Rocky doing? And he'll be like, oh, I dropped her off.
Oh, no, she's going to come in. She's after a slice.
Yeah.
She's after a slice.
I dropped my child off at the Nebula that you don't remember. And Una will be like, what the shit are you talking about?
Honestly, like, I don't know about you, but I've been in situations in my life where, like, I've needed to say something to someone, but the time isn't right, and I'm just waiting for them to come to me. And that's obviously
this shouldn't be that.
That's what Mbenga's. No, Mbenga, like, is, if he's a good Starfleet officer, he may or may not be in the process of writing a report.
Yeah.
But, like, just because of the way it all happens, boom, 5 hours go by, everyone wakes up, and everyone's in different places in the ship, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Mbenga's just sat in his office, just waiting for someone to come and say, do you know what the fuck went down?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, he's going to be running around the ship going, you've all been in Renaissance costumes!
Yeah.
You've all been wearing doublets!
There's one or two of them with arrow wounds, like, what the shit happened here?
What the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
You're fine!
Yeah.
Like,
So weird.
no,
weird.
you just gotta sit and wait for them to come to you, and then you can explain everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay with that bit. Like, yeah. That's what I would do.
Okay. Right. Then maybe that's all I had to say about the episode. Now that I've ranted about the paedophile Nebula stealing children.
Absolutely, definitely sus.
Yeah. Did anything else from yourself about the episode?
I mean, pedophile nebula. We've covered that.
Yeah. Good work to the costumer this week, of course.
Say again.
Good work to the person doing costumes this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really, yeah. One thing I will say, I do love the fact that the whole episode was on the ship, and the ship was just dressed. It wasn't dressed to look convincingly like the setting. It was literally just like the ship with drapes.
Drapes and then leaves in the corridors.
Yeah, and then behind, and then you move that shit out of the way, and there's all the consoles and everything there. Like, I love that. It was so very TOS.
Yeah.
Like, we've got fuck all budget for this episode. We have a fuckload of costumes in a storeroom next door.
Yeah.
You know, I think aside from like makeup, I can't think of much in the way of special effects for this episode. This must have been the cheapest episode by far. But yeah, no, it's good fun episode. I've got my whiteboard out.
Go for it then. Have
you
got yours written?
My whiteboard pen that I swear I just had. What order do they go for you?
Memento Mori, which is submarine combat versus the Gorn. Then I go Spock Amok. Then I'm on to Strange New Worlds, first episode. Then I'm on to the Serene Squall, which was the last one we had.
Yes, with Captain Angel.
Yep. Then I do Children of the Comet, which is the comet is out of control, and we have George Kirk touching stuff and nearly dying. No George Kirk this week.
Again?
Yeah.
Where do you think he was? I reckon he was being executed.
Yeah.
He was getting an off with his head in engineering.
I think he was in the Swamp of Sadness or whatever it was called.
Oh yes, of course he was in the Swamp of Infinite Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously where he was. You're right.
So Children of the Comet. Then Ghosts of Illyria, the Horny for Light episode. And then Lifters Where Suffering Cannot Reach, which is, I can barely remember it. The Killer Kid episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Illyria is still the Children of Illyria is at the bottom.
You don't like that, yeah.
The Ghosts of Illyria.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like it.
You like it the least.
I like it the least.
Yeah. There's none I don't like.
Have, like, for me, like the moment where Una throws Hemmer over her shoulder is one of my favorite moments of the series completely. Like I've said, she can throw me over her shoulder. She can throw me in a cupboard.
I think I'm looking at this this map. I've still got it on my other screen. This map of the Enterprise, and I think it might be based on the JJ Enterprise. The nacelles aren't.
Are they fat?
Yeah, they're the fat nacelles.
Are they fat nacelles?
I mean, obviously it's distorted anyway, but they are looking fat nacelles with a hood over them.
Oh no, dude, you are 100% right.
Yeah.
You are 100% right. That's the JJ. That is the Kelvin Enterprise.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah, no.
I mean, they might not have just had the. Oh, they should have had the design for it when they did the set.
Mate, yeah, no, that's That's a fucking another great spot there by Mike Smart. Fuck me. Fucking
I'm on 2. Jesus.
holy shit, that's the. Not only is that map of the Enterprise, but it's of an Enterprise that doesn't even exist in this timeline.
Yep.
So we'll go like, okay, we'll go. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it that way.
Okay, hit us.
Okay. What's the name of this episode again?
Uh,
Elysium.
Elysian Kingdom.
Elysium, starring Matt Damon. Okay. Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
Bockamok.
Okay.
Lift us up where we belong.
Cool.
Serene Squall.
Yep.
Memento Mori. Elysium starring Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Illyria.
Okay. Okay. It's fair
I like
enough.
it when Star Trek makes me have to sit and think about something. I love it when Star Trek makes me question my own beliefs. And in many ways, this episode kind of did. It made me question how much.
Well, you had emotion for children.
What does having a child even really fucking mean?
Yeah.
You know, how would I deal with that? How do you deal with a child with a fucking wasting disease? How do you deal with your child leaving home? How do you reconcile the person that comes back when your child comes back?
Yeah.
You know, like, and you know, and your kid comes back a completely different person, but at the same time, it's still the same person that left. You know, this
especially
episode
compared to, you know, maybe you send a kid away for university or school or something like that. You're probably going to be in contact with them, you know, fairly regularly. Where he's missed now decade of her life.
Well, he hasn't even missed it. She's missed it.
Yeah.
You know,
well, she's experienced it.
You think about it like that.
Decade.
And even yet still is trying with this episode is trying to actually find the metaphor, because like there aren't a lot of real life examples of things that are analogous.
There we go.
Analogous.
Yes.
There you go. Analogous.
Telepathy.
Yes. There aren't that many experiences that are calliope to being like locked in a fucking transport buffer.
Yeah.
You know? So it makes you, you know, this episode makes you think about like, what the fuck, you know, at what point are the boundaries that you put up around your child? At what point is that too much?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I suppose. I didn't get that or pick up on that, but I can definitely see that, and probably if I rewatched it again, I'd get more of that versus the paedophile stuff.
Well, I mean that the thing is, like, that reading of it comes entirely from the bookends of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, none of that is the through
No.
narrative of it. Like, most of this episode is just hijinks.
Yeah. Hijinks, silly costumes, silly acting.
Which is a nice,
fine.
you know, if you think about it, like the kid is enjoying seeing her dad enjoy himself.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I'm being extra soft, like that in itself, all of these hijinks, kind of a nice parting gift from his daughter, because she's just seen this dude stressed out all the time.
Yeah.
Before she goes, she ends up getting to actually see her dad having some fun.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, they could have done more.
Just before you go on to your point, the moment where fucking Mbenga's like, if you take my daughter, I will.
Yeah.
Bear down on you with the force of my entire kingdom.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment.
Good.
Only because it was bookended by 1 or 2 seconds of silence at either end. So to really hammer in the seriousness of what he's saying and also the silliness of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's weird from now on knowing that just in this space that is now charted in somewhere that is fairly close to, Sector 001, being that it's TOS times, you could just make friends with an entity, and if you were ill, they could absorb you in there, and that would be it.
Yeah, it's weird that like the episode doesn't end with Mbenga writing a report of like this nebula has wonderful healing properties. The caveat being you have to go into a wait a minute.
You know who it would work for?
Who would fucking love this? Fucking Chris Pike.
Yeah. We've got there again. Pike,
Holy shit.
Yeah. Pike could go
Chris
back.
Pike has a solution to his problem that he doesn't even know he has.
Yeah. Pike knows that at some point he's going to be, BP wheelchair bound, and have, cheesy face. If Mbenga actually entered a log that said, by the way, if we go here, it can absorb people's consciousness and they could live like a god. Poor Pike. Poor Pike. What I was going to say was, maybe what brings the episode down for me a tiny bit was I think they could have done more to set up the story of the story that the episode is basing itself on.
The fantasy.
Yeah, the fantasy beforehand. Because going through the episode and then going like, oh, you're Sir Roth, and then having it go to a page of Sir Roth, I'm like, I don't know who Sir Roth is. And you get informed by the story, but it would be nice to know a bit of that beforehand, a bit more of it.
Maybe if we go back and rewatch the episodes where the story is mentioned, say on some kind of streaming platform, preferably in like 4K. Like we could go back and rewatch all the episodes, and I mean like all the episodes. If we could go back and rewatch all the episodes and see what characters get mentioned in the scenes with Mbenga and his child.
Yeah, and possibly just miss them because it wasn't something that was standing out and able to be picked up on.
Or maybe miss them for like an advert for like
for Halo or something.
For Halo, watch an advert for Halo instead.
Yeah. But as well as that, maybe I'm not bitter, but setting up Mbenga with this tragic, you've got to heal your kid, it's a countdown to your kid, and in the first real episode of Mbenga, the kid is sorted and it's gone, and now who is Mbenga to us? He's a guy that pawned off his dying kid, or his dying kid got cured by a nebula and got to live as a nebula.
Now he's free at last!
Yeah.
Free at last!
Maybe now he's single, and
man.
Next episode it's going to be him going down the club, like boom.
Yeah, mate. Down. I don't have. Oh god, this is so horrible. So horrible. I don't got no fucking kids to worry about.
Yeah. He updates his like space Tinder to
man.
Or space Bumble. How many kids do you have?
Oh man, how do you do Tinder on one of these?
Yeah. He's like, kids, yes or no? I'm like, well, no, kind of.
Kids,
she's a gaseous anomaly in space.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a sort of daughter, sort of god. She has a girlfriend.
She doesn't visit that often.
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. I've got room in my transporter buffer for another one now.
Oh,
Yeah.
room for two.
Yeah. So they were niggles of mine for the episode, but other than that, fine, whatever. It's still a good episode. It's just not my favorite out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This episode. The only reason this episode is not at the bottom, the only reason this is above Ghosts of Illyria, is because of all the high silliness.
Yeah. It's same
Look at
for
all
me.
the silliness.
If the acting wasn't silly and strong, it probably
Yeah,
wouldn't be anywhere near as high on mine. It would probably be
absolutely.
below Ghost of Illyria, I would say.
Yeah, man. If Anson Mount had phoned it in for a second,
Yeah. If any of them
that guy
had.
completely sold every moment that he was in.
Yeah. He does great. Christina Chong does great. The actor, the new Ahura does great.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all round strong stuff, really. You know, maybe Spock doesn't do as good, but maybe Spock, his silliness is restricted because he's Vulcan. Who knows? Who knows? Who cares?
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the episode. Done. Done with that episode. Unless you want to say anything more.
No. I guess to relate this episode of Star Trek back to this episode, I guess if you love something, you let it go.
Let it go. Except for next episode of Mate It Show, which will be back probably a week later.
But we'll let this episode go.
Yes. Good segueing, you know. Good two-part segueing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper, you motherfuckers.
Peace and long life, double dumbasses.
Double dumbass on you.
Double dumbasses.
Wait, before we sign off, we should be letting people know about our socials.
I've been putting the link to the Facebook group in the doobly doo constantly.
I'm gonna use this opportunity.
But plug yourself. Go
TikTok. Plug. Look for me at Ethan Alon on TikTok. I've got some Star Trek content out. It's mostly ADHD stuff, but I'm gonna start putting clips of this show out on my TikTok.
Cool.
Because I do have 9,500 followers.
Which is a couple more than we have subscribers here.
I haven't even put a video out on TikTok in 3 weeks, and I've grown 500 followers.
It's alright.
I think people like me.
People like me. People really like me. What's that? Marilyn Monroe, whatever.
I think so. No, I think it's Liza Minnelli.
Is it?
Anyway, like I said before, live long and prosper, you motherfuckers.
Peace and long life, double dumbasses.
Double dumbass on you.
Ah.